Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, good evening, people. How are you? Big weekend. Hopefully, I saw a lot of stuff, a lot of clips come in. People out there doing what they got to do. In Wollongong, guys, we got the more or less a Three Stooges show here. In Wollongong politics, we got we'll be talking about these people tonight, but obviously Ryan Park is under the pump. If you haven't heard yet, guys, 37 hospitals, $1.6 billion in debt. Healthscope has gone down amongst scandals, etc. They're saying this won't affect our hospitals. You know, they got another buyer coming. Well, why didn't Ryan Park know that these people were $1.6 billion in debt? And, you know, it's just like, yeah. And I can't get these guys on to talk about it. Well, no doubt. No wonder I can't, eh? And then we've got the homeless down at Wollongong where we went. So we'll be going to see, I'm not going to say when we're going because they won't like that. But yeah, we'll be paying a visit to Paul Scully and Alison Byrne-Scully's office with some paperwork, guys. We got a Western Australian COVID outbreak. Look out. Look out. Scientists raise alarm over sudden deaths among professional bodybuilders. Any professional sports people, guys, that had that thing, we know what goes on. All right, we know about the blood. We know about the sharp particles. The fitter they are, the quicker they go down because the quicker the blood flow is. So we could let them know if they want to know. If the scientists are doing it tough, maybe someone send them an email. Let them know. We know exactly what's going on. Millions facing major hike in electricity prices. No, but Albo's here to bring it all down for you guys and make your life better. Yeah. Warning over milk prices as drought bites. All right, so here we go, guys. The next one's on. It's going to be the milk. All right. And, yeah, I've seen a little bit. And by word, they're setting it up. So they're going to keep screwing you until you all get to stand together. And here's this one. Private health giant falls into receivership. 37 hospitals up for sale. Well, as far as we're concerned, or I'm concerned, sorry, my opinion only, guys, these things aren't hospitals. They're actually FEMA camps. and that's all they do is treat people bad. And most people don't come out of there. If you do, you end up going back for something else. It's been taken over by homeless permanents, 3 camps. Well, yep, people are going to be out taking over stuff, guys, because they've got nowhere to live. All right, it's as simple as that. You know, we'll play a cut in a minute, I think. Kaz will probably have a cut of me on the weekend, and Melanie going down, Rowie, Craig. Con was there, went down to talk to him. Glennis, I think, turned up. Went down to talk to the people at Cully Bay and help them out. So, you know, we just got to get behind everyone, guys, and stand up together. Oh, here we go. You know, another place just like Gladstone in Queensland, guys, where these poor people here, we do stories too. This is not just a bunch of people that decide to pull up at a car park for no reason. The reason that we're here is because of the government's tyranny and bullshit. These people, unfortunately, have found themselves with nowhere to live, like a lot of people in our society today. And they're here, and guys, I've got good stories, you know, and we'll let them tell them. But one quick one is just a girl that turned up here. I heard about yesterday talking to Mick, and pulled up in the corner over here. Mick found her crying her eyes out, Mick, wasn't she?
Yeah, that was about 3 years ago.
3 years ago? 3 years?
Yeah.
How long have you guys been?
I've been here roughly 3 years.
3 years?
I used to be over at Shell Harbour.
Yeah.
But she had nowhere. She was...
and tell her quickly tell them the story, Mick, about what happened there.
She was moved from Melbourne to Sydney, and she was the last on. And they sacked her, and she had nowhere to go, no money, and all of the worldly possessions in the car. And I found her crying in the corner over there. I brought her over, fed her, gave her coffee, and arranged for her mother to send money over to Port Kembla, and got her mentally stable enough that she could drive down to Victoria. And she made it there, and she's happy. She's with her mum now. And her mum actually got in contact with you, Mick, and thanked you for doing that. Thank me for doing it. And this is what we want to show you guys. This is not, ratbag people down here. These people are the people who would like to build a community, and they've actually done that here. Yeah, and we help the homeless every day. There's guys like sleeping across the road in cars, and they're too ashamed to get help from people simply because they've got nothing. And this shouldn't be like that, and like I've got here guidelines of public. It says here, you have the right to use public and enjoy public spaces. It's homeless. Yep. Everyone has a right to use and enjoy public spaces. Public spaces include spaces like parks, streets and beaches. In New South Wales, there are laws about what you can do in public spaces. And this is the homeless laws, and apply to police, council, and it also says you should be treated with respect, the same respect as everyone else, and they're not. We've been discriminated against by police. We had a bloke over there causing a ruckus, and the policeman came and said, well, I'm going to the council. I'll have his out in 2 weeks' time. That was 2 weeks ago. And
did you get his number?
No,
okay.
No, we didn't. We've had a guy, he was up there doing RBT, walked all the way down here. We were sitting over there quietly on Australia Day, and he abused us and said, I'm going to fine you for the dogs and all this sort of. He came out of his way to discriminate against us because we're homeless. And his attitude was absolutely disgusting. And this is what we're up against, guys. This is what we're up against. This is why we're asking you people out there, anyone in the Wollongong region, right? We are probably be going to do a sit-in or something down here, guys, around the 13th, because we got documents here that have been produced. We're going to get them to Mill. We got them to Mick and that. Right, they're going to get signed. They're going to Paul Scully. They're going to Alison Burns Scully. And they're going to Michael Abode, who was the gentleman, or I call him a gentleman at the moment. He's probably an arsehole. But at the moment, we'll give him the respect to calling him a gentleman. And, so he's going to get the document too. Now, he's the guy that's actually giving us them. So we're going to stir up the hornet's nest here, guys. And the reason being is because any one of you people out there watching this live or watching the show tonight could be in the same spot tomorrow.
You don't know.
Yes.
You do not know.
Yeah.
All right. You do not know when your employer is going to go broke. They are shutting down every business in Australia.
And 30% of people are one paycheck away from bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy. Exactly right.
And that is common fact.
Yep. Well, they are a bunch of beautiful people, guys. Really lovely people. You know, we've had, I don't know how many now, but I think this morning when I checked it, you know, it had gone 20,000 views, that clip. It got out there, Kaz, on my Facebook. So that's just on the one channel. So we're, you know, we're just going to have to stand with them because that's what we do, right? We look after each other. And, you know, if you watch that whole interview, guys, you just understand that that's their family now. You know, these people have nothing else. They build a community. You know, they've got, you know, friends and strangers and, you know, but it's come together. And now here we go. They're going to try and kick them out of there, do what they can do. Well, they're going to get a bit of backup, a bit of pushback, sorry. And the boys are going to get some backup and the ladies. So, yeah, we got people down there that actually watch the show. Met a couple of people down there, guys. So, yeah, anyone in Wollongong, we're going to need your help. Anyone not in Wollongong, sure, you know the email to Paul Scully and Alison Burns-Scully, the two Labor candidates, and Ryan Park for the health issues, guys. So we got work to do. Simple. We back these people up and we make a difference to their life. All right, that's it. We got to do it.
I'll have to find that petition tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Look, we got our people were everywhere this weekend, and kudos and salutes to you all. I'll just bring this one in first because I can't actually download it. So
they're playing with your volume.
Oh, again?
Yep. So Central Coast Cream Puffs here doing the Erina area. We're now at the Fountain Plaza, Erina, and we're serving the cease and desist. Quite well receptive here considering, and he was quite nice. So we're on to our next one now. Anything else?
We're going to the doctor's next door.
I think we're going to the doctor's surgery next door. Let's do it, guys.
Okay.
All right, so first of all, they did that, and then they've got this one as well, so we'll just have a look at that very quickly. Sorry, guys.
Terry White's out there advertising very hard, guys. Very, very hard. Bring your kids in for their flu shots. Come get your vaccine, COVID. It's back on. So Terry White needs a little attention.
I've just cancelled it accidentally. All right, so but they're the crew from Central Coast. They were doing it. They were serving cease and desist. You also had Belinda. She rang into on Sunday night. She rang into Reverend Cruz.
Yeah, that was cool.
It seems that it's been covered up by the mainstream media.
It's been very, very difficult. No, it's not exactly been covered up. It's just very difficult to get the stories out. We did a whole series of stories with the Newcastle Herald, and it's been in the Sydney Morning Herald a few times. It's been on television a few times. It's very, very difficult to get a lot of interest in it in Australia, and that's been very saddening. You know, my wife died of Hep C, so I know the whole situation.
I heard your ex-wife was actually infected.
Yes, and she died because of it. Yes,
and your daughter as well.
Well, but we've managed to sort some of that through. Yes, so I've been trying very hard. I've been trying very hard to make the situation better.
Just on that, my understanding is in England they've just been paid out $10.8 billion in compensation.
Yes, they have.
And I believe there's a similar court action about to happen.
I hope so. Darling, I hope so. I've got to go.
He was very keen to get out of there. Good on you, Belinda. You ruffled him. Now, from up at the coast, there's been floods everywhere, and we have Robin Rawson reporting from there.
Okay, this is Hibbert Drive. I've got two dear elderly aunties who live just here, so I've come over and got my gumboots on and just doing a welfare check on them. I believe they're without power. Anyway, I'm sure they've been through a whole lot of stuff in their lives and aren't too concerned, but I'll check on them anyway. Oh dear. Ooh. Hello, Auntie. Come to do a welfare check on you. Say hello. I'm going to send it to Robert.
Hello, Rob.
And Pete. Here she is.
Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. All right, so we also had a really big turnout at the GGs, and also an interview with Craig Vine.
Wonderful bloke, huh?
Good morning, Satan.
Tell it like it is, especially with the shirt, mate.
Margaret, I've got a ward of the state with me, representing him and many others, that this government has done so much damage to. And it's only a matter of time that they all find the courage to come and stand with us. But I'm going to read you something on behalf of my wife, Michelle. My name is Michelle. I've lost confidence in the government. I have multiple sclerosis and cannot physically appear. Therefore, I authorise Frank to speak for me. I have sufficient cause. I instruct you to dissolve Parliament and issue the writs for a fresh election for every council and state parliament immediately. No person previously on the public purse is to be instead instated. I instruct you to coordinate with the Governor Samantha Mostyn. I want all the documents Senator Heffernan presented to the Royal Commission released to the people, unredacted, immediately. I instruct you to pass the law that bans lobbyists from influencing government's decisions. I instruct you to organise our court system so there is no pedophilia, incest or corruption of any kind. I instruct you to place a ban on our chemicals being dumped into the sky, being for weather modification or otherwise. I instruct you to pass laws to make our school places of education, not indoctrination. I instruct you to pass the laws that make our hospital places of healing, not harm and profit. I instruct you to pass the laws to make it impossible to physically, mentally or spiritually harm the people. May I remind you that you are a public servant and as such serve the people. We pay your wages and many, many more. The veil has been lifted from the people's eyes. We see you, but the light of Christ, we see you. We'll be here every Monday until you do as instructed. Margaret, the jig is up.
Wow, that's really powerful. And afterwards he gave an interview with Craig Vine, and Craig Vine had this to say about going out and serving the cease and desist.
Funny you say that, because I actually do leave the premises, each premises, and I say to them that you will have to deal with this eventually. Please watch the witness statement. This is after the cease and desist, the chatter and stuff like that. And even chemists, I say, please watch it, because it will show you more than I can actually explain it yourself. And if you don't deal with it now, you're going to look very silly later on for not doing so. And, as a matter of fact, your police commissioners, this is me talking to the police officers, should, and if they haven't, you're going to ask them why they didn't actually show you the documentary. So.
Yeah, good work. Oh, Dave, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, we're going well. We're getting a lot of stuff done. It's brilliant, guys. It's brilliant.
And it's not just there as well. It's also in the courts. Check out this one.
For multiple charges that's been brought against you by the New South Wales Police, what are your comments? Because everyone's thrilled to know the way it's going.
It's a typical mention. All they try to do is joinder you to their trust name. I feel he wasn't successful. His body language demonstrated to me that he knew exactly what I was saying. I made a few points of conjecture that made it very clear there was no contract to be made with him. He had no contract with me, and I had no contract with him.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. When you go into these mentions, it's got nothing to do with what the prosecution has brought to the court. It's all about joinder to the name, and they do that through the magistrate. If the magistrate joinders you, then you are then a defendant in the matter.
Absolutely.
But if you do not joinder and you make it super clear that you have no interest, you are not contracting with them, they have no contract with you. I even pointed out the differences with the crown emblem sitting above his head. So I pointed that issue out to him as well. He was pretty right. I think he knew what I was on about, and
They can't admit it.
They can't admit it in public. If you're going to get them to cower to
Can admit the fraud.
Yeah.
Not even disclosing their names. The prosecutor, a young prosecutor, wouldn't even disclose his name.
Yeah.
Because they know they're sitting in treason on the highest level.
Absolutely, Maynard. Well,
They have to conceal because they can't reveal.
Yeah, absolutely.
They live amongst us.
Absolutely. I'll just get some comments from Steve. Steve, what are your comments about?
It was the usual clown circus routine by the magistrate, who then had to run out so he could change jurisdiction because now he was liable under contract law. Michael contracted him and counter contracted him. That's basically what happened today.
Brilliant.
And, so it was a good day. There was more than 30 of supporters here.
Absolutely, more than 30 of us.
We all stood up in there and took over the place.
Yeah, we are.
And some people were telling the sheriff to go fuck off. He's telling you have to stay up. Telling the court clerk, telling him, and when they say you stay here, they'd say fuck off.
Whoops, sorry, should have cut that. Sorry, guys. But now there's something very interesting that was sent to me by John Treverton as well.
I'll just say, guys, that's Michael Schultz that I read out about the other night, guys. Right, on dodgy firearms charges, this, that, and the other. The guy's an absolute legend for standing his own sovereignty. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because John Treverton has sent me this, and it actually is published in the Austin Chronicle, and it's the end of the birth certificate fraud by the looks of it.
Let's check this out. What's going on here? Austin Chronicle. All right, let's see. Let's go to page 55. Oh, look. Looks like all the birth certificates got frauded out.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your public notice.
So it's being gazetted.
Well, I don't know that it's gazetted, but it's been published. I'm not sure what the format is, but I'll have to ask him. What's the protocol for that kind of stuff? But it's really incredibly interesting. As far as that goes. But it's not just there that we're winning as well. This person in Albury has basically taken a personal injury case to the Commission in New South Wales and against Joss, and Joss is huge over in Albury. And though they haven't been found guilty in psychological injury, the Commission member, Jackie Snell, found Ms. Williams was entitled to workers' compensation and reimbursement for medical expenses. So basically it's getting very, very interesting out there, and it's hard. It's hard to now. Somebody sent me this. Sorry, whoever this was, I'd give you credit. Except I get so much stuff, I can't remember who sent this one to me. But if you look at this now, this is from the Australian National University, and I went to their page and I actually had a look. So this is actually taken from their page, And it actually puts the Governor General under the executive power. How is that possible?
Well, got to look into that, yeah. Well, finding things out every day, aren't we?
Well, we are indeed. So, now I can't forget Rosie, Renegade Rosie, and Rocco's report on the homeless as well. So this is our people out again over the weekend.
Rocco Vardy reporting to you from the homeless strip here in Horston Park. Before I give you guys an update on previous homeless people, my office still stands to anybody who knows anyone in Sydney. It has to be a legit foreigner that's homeless, so I can do a story on them. It's $50. You can reach me on Facebook, Telegram, on New Earth Communities channel, approximately 600 members, and you can get me on TikTok. That's Vardy, that's spelled V-A-R-T-Y. Now, what's happened, guys, since my last stories, there's people who are coming here who don't have absolutely no clue about the law, about how they're supposed to look up Google and find out who is the original First Nations of the land that they are occupying. You know, the sad story is that they're coming here and then they're moving to some other location, worrying that they'll get moved on by councils. This is it's an epidemic problem with the homeless because they don't know their rights. And I've had to tell two people tonight who are regular users of this area. One bloke who's leaving for Tasmania tomorrow. When I told him the news, he just wanted to give me a big hug, because it was like a huge relief to him that people shouldn't be living like rats, moving from one place to another. The only people in my mind who should be living like rats is not the homeless, it's the bloody councils. So anyway, Rocco, giving you guys an update how I am looking after the homeless here at Horston Park. Sending everyone tremendous love, chat.
Thank you for that report and for all your reports, actually, Rocco. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you want to comment on that again before I go into
it's just what we got to do. We got to be backing up these people because they're going to start in steamrollers, guys. That's what they're going to try and do. All right, or steamroll the homeless first, you know what I mean, and just push them out. But if you watch that 30-minute clip I done from on site down there, guys, on Sunday or Saturday, whatever it was, on Sunday, you'll understand that they want to push these people into drug, affected crime rate areas. You know what I mean? And it's just not on, man. These people have a community. They've built it. Before they got there, the prostitutes, junkies, and burn out cars. Now they got the place all clean.
That's it. Look, somebody who's always doing tremendous work as well is Renegade Rosie, and she was again at DY. She took a number of interviews, and this one gave me such joy.
Here at DY, and I've just met this lovely family, Tom and his little girl Evie and his lovely wife, and they were just saying to me when they looked at Forest of the Fallen, they didn't want to get their little girl vaccinated. Tom, what was it that made you realise that vaccination had risks?
Look, I firstly just looked into the sheer volume of vaccines that they want to give the little kids by the time they're 4 years old, and I just thought this doesn't really seem right. And then I looked into what's in the vaccines themselves. We spend 6 months looking into what kind of pram we want to use, but we don't question what's actually being injected in our kids. So I thought I'm just going to take some time to look into what aluminium does, what multiple doses of aluminium does to the little babies, and where it actually goes. Are you sure it can be pissed out or excreted by the body, or does it stay in there, and what effect does it have? And so we decided, after lots of research, not to vaccinate Evie.
I'm so thrilled to hear that.
No regrets.
Oh, I'm sure you don't have any regrets.
No regrets. That's exactly right.
Not wrong.
And, well, here's the thing, that Australia's vaccination rates are at their lowest. So that's actually our people. Guys, well done. You've done a tremendous job because we were the vaccination nation. We vaccinated for everything. So the tide has turned. So that's awesome.
Yeah, well, with the 1 in 36, child autism, mate, people were looking for answers, I tell you, and they're finding them.
Well, that's exactly right. Now, the other thing that we actually, will I bring on let's do the flyers first, because then we've got this Muppet eating pasta man in mass. Like, hello. Oh, just crazy stuff. We've just got so much crazy stuff going on. And of course, we've got the machete stuff going on as well. So, very interesting, that one. All right, let's do the flyers. Where are they?
And the Mondays at Maggie's crew is calling for tools down. It's time to stand together. A corrupt and tyrannical government is crushing industries, stripping freedoms and silencing voices. This affects every worker and every business. New South Wales under a corrupt government. Enough is enough. We won't stay silent and we demand action. So join us every Monday at the Governor's House in Sydney at 11 a.m. And on Mondays, don't forget Mondays at Maggie's, the Frank and Charles podcast. They will be hitting the streets this week. Mondays at Maggie's. And there is a call out to put Forests of the Fallens outside of the courthouses across the nation. And there is a court call out for court support for a friend of the show, Rocco, in Rocco versus New South Wales Police for victimless charges. This will be on the 3rd of the 6th of the 25th at Burwood. And there is a court call-out for support for Gregory Alla versus Alliance Insurance on the 28th of the 5th of the 25th. That's this coming Wednesday. It's regarding insurance fraud at the Civil Court, 86 Goulburn Street, Sydney. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. And there is an urgent call to action. Dr. Beverly Peers is challenging the validity of state acts and the corporation policies forcing vaccination to be able to work. Her matter affects all Australians, and if successful, the states have lost their strongest control tactic over the people. Please support her in this fight for all Australians. And join the Justice of the People in Melbourne every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. for a remembrance at the Shrine of Remembrance, lest we forget. And Tim Dwyer has invited everyone to do the unthinkable and walk away from their bastardry and treason. He will be holding a Zoom meeting on Wednesday the 28th at 9 p.m. South Australian time for anyone, particularly influencers, who is interested. The daily prayer space is held on X at 3 p.m. So whatever you're facing, come along and we can lift you up in prayer. Every day, 3 p.m. on X. Melissa 146233923.
Great job, guys. Well done, Melissa. Everybody, just brilliant. You know, we got so much going on, guys. People are user out there, people are seniors, and people are waking up. That's what it's all about.
That's exactly right. Now, Pastor Man, here he is. He's at Mass eating a big bowl of pasta in the front row.
I saw that.
Unreal.
You also have this. Now, Centrelink sets June 15th as its final ID check date for all age pensioners. Seniors must revalidate ID or face a pension freeze. So the voluntary digital ID is voluntary, but if you do, you don't get paid.
That's it. It's
So-
voluntary
and this
until you don't sign up. Then it's not voluntary anymore.
And the crazy part about it is, like, all of this is completely defined by the United Nations and their what is coercion and what is, like, it's like they're breaking every law. They're breaking their own laws and they're breaking international laws. And, like, it just, I can't even, like, I just don't even know what to say anymore.
Look, they're just going to continue to do it. You know what I mean? But, you know, as I said, the good thing is we've got a good group of people that are getting out there and being active in the community, and we are waking them up. So
That's exactly right.
Yep,
And then you've
continue.
got this, and then you've got this. This is the Australian. This is actually Greg Sheridan, Australia's first-rate nation, whose leaders are now determining will be a second-rate.
Yep.
And they actually say Australia's divided, misgoverned, in retreat, a nation in decline. Yes, in every metric. In every single metric.
Another
Every
12
single
months,
metric.
guys, and we will be well on the way to being a third world country.
That's right.
12 months. No worries.
That's it. You also have, of course, this situation here. Now we actually have we have people everywhere, as you guys know. So, the person shall remain anonymous, as I think it's probably best. However, I did vet them. They sent me a photograph of them actually there, and I saw the news things. However, what they said was that they were talking to the people who were in the shop, and the same group was there yesterday. The police took 6 minutes to arrive. Now, remember that the police commissioner is now in Victoria is now the same one who oversaw the Christchurch situation. And this person also said that immediately the all of the media was there. Oh, they also walked up to to somebody who's reporting from there and said, "Oh, what do you think? You know, like this is just." She said, made the comment about this is just ridiculous, and the person actually said, "Oh well, what do you believe in Trump policies or something like? Try to swim it back on Trump." And she's going, "This has got nothing to do with that. Like, what has got, you know?" Anyway, just incredible. But one of the other things that she said was that they immediately after it happened, a whole groups of Muslim Somalis pulled up and started taking photographs of the incident.
Smells a false flag, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, look, we just generally don't trust the government anyway, for good reason. They do lie and they've got a terrible track record. What do you think, Dave?
I think there's numerous things, mate. I think they're just bringing it on. You know what I mean? They're you know, this is what they got to do. You know, funnily enough, the media and that were already there. They were ready to go. You know,
well, they weren't already there. They were there really quick. They were there really quickly. So the lockdown stuff happened, and then she managed to get out the side, and by the time she got out the front, they were already there.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll know about it. In 48 hours, I'll probably know a lot more.
Very interesting stuff. Now, the one thing that this person did say after watching all of the media, she said actually Channel 9 did actually try to attempt to report the truth. They did the best job of the truth. And isn't that interesting? Because look at this. George Soros buys into Nine's 1.9 billion IPO. Now, this is from 11 years ago. So I'm wondering with the 13818, is it, Dave? One of those. What's the number you always quote?
Yeah, that's it.
With the seizing of the assets, I'm finding it very interesting that Channel 9 was the one that she thought had actually reported truthfully, or as close to the truth as possible. I mean, you know, it's always shades of grey in there. Interesting.
Whilst we've got Kamala Harris out here giving us lectures on real estate, you know, and how BlackRock and the big corporations. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that yet, no.
Yeah. Mate, we'll put it on tomorrow night. But what a joke. And the people that were there, like adoring her. I mean, look, give me a break, man. Anyway.
I know. Look, if anyone's active out there, can we get somebody to do now? This is the New England Northwest, and I must thank Michael Jones for this but this is in the area of Moree and Narrabri and Inverell. Why do these police vans have Santos on them? So can somebody please do a Freedom of Information Act request or a GIPA to the New South Wales Police and ask them what arrangements are being made?
Santos. Yeah, why they're sponsored by Santos.
What's the arrangement, and is it sponsorship, and if so, how much? What the details are? Because I would actually very much like to know that.
Definitely.
Now, another thing that's very unusual, Dave, is your request. Here he is.
About offshore wind in the Illawarra because of the number of opportunities for tradespeople, for engineers, for labourers, for all types of people who are in the workforce, that they can continue using those skills in a new industry in the area, and they can continue in the area.
The volume's gone.
Yeah, it wasn't. I downloaded it fine, so I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, so listen, sir. I don't know who you are, okay, and I don't want to bag the crap out of you, but you are an uneducated fool, right? I'm your age, all right, and you should know friggin' better, all right? So it's time to get to Stop the Rot. And I did actually tag his TikTok, and I put Stop the Rot on there and told him to come and do some research and get educated, because you are the sort of fool that's bringing this country down. Don't know anything except what the mainstream media is telling them. Never done a day's research in their friggin' life. But, look at all the jobs we'll create. Sorry, buddy. I don't know who you are, mate, but you're welcome to come down and have a chat to me at the harbour here. I'll set you straight.
Now, the other things that's really interesting is this about Joe Biden. So that's on Ancestry.com, and as Joe Biden was killed or died in Guantanamo Bay in 2018. So now the other big thing for coming out of the States as well is the testimony by Diddy's ex-girlfriend about how he killed Prince.
Cassie drew a deep breath, her voice trembling but resolute.
6 months after meeting Sean, he invited me to a party at Paisley Park, Prince Rogers Nelson's home. That was the first time I met Prince. He spoke to me softly, differently. He warned me about Sean, about the dark underbelly of this industry. But days later, Prince was gone. They said he overdosed on fentanyl, a drug 10 times stronger than morphine, meant for post-surgery patients in agony. I believed it until another night at a freak-off party when Sean was high.
She paused, the silence heavy with dread. Then she pressed on.
Sean bragged about killing Prince. He said Prince had recorded his illegal dealings and demanded hush money. Sean laced Prince's wine with fentanyl. Prince convulsed, collapsed, and died right there. Then Sean ordered his assistant to haul Prince's body back to Paisley Park, staging the scene to fool the police.
The courtroom exploded in whispers and gasps. A woman...
I don't know about Michael wanting to blackmail him for money. But anyway.
Prince. Yeah, no, well,
Prince,
I don't... No, but that was Diddy's story. That's why
Yeah.
it justified the killing of him. But yeah, not necessarily. Now, just the other big thing, this was massive, the protests and the strikes in the UK, and it was 76 towns. And here's a little snippet of Now, apparently they're all chanting Starmer out, so it's getting very interesting because people have just had enough. So, yeah, but anyway, look, we're going to be taken out by Jag Talks. Never forgive, never forget. So, Dave, if you would like to wrap up and close the show, that would be great.
Keep doing what we're doing, guys. All right, Queensland's now realised that their renewable energy is useless. Okay, it's falling apart up there. It's going to continue to fall apart. The reason it's falling apart is because you good people are out there in the community doing what you are doing, and people are waking up. So, guys, thanks for the weekend. Thanks for last week. You know how hard we worked and now what we got done. This week starts again now, guys. So get ready, go to bed, have a good sleep tonight, get up in the morning. Who can you send an email to? Who can you get a copy of the witness statement to? Who can you get a cease and desist to? Keep it up, people. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Good night. And there is a lot of military movement over the coast too, guys. Heaps of helicopters and that today. It was going ballistic down here. So, yeah, interesting. Okay.
To all my mates in Victoria, this is Jag Talk saying we'll never forgive and we'll never forget Dan Andrews is a fog. Across the once great state of Victoria, we used to run free. Then the chains of curfew were imposed on you and your family. Melbourne's heartbeat quickly came to a stop. Follow the arrows, soak up sanitizer, just a bloody shop. We'll never forget, we'll never forgive the days we lost, how they forced us to live. Under Dan's hand, our freedoms were taken. Watching our loved ones suffer alone, their hearts breaking. 5 k's from home was all we could dread. 1 hour outside or you'll get arrested. Masked on our faces, no smiles to see. Under Dan Andrews, lockdowns, no one's free. We'll never forget, we'll never forgive the days we lost, how they forced us to live. Under Dan's hand, our freedoms were taken. Watching our loved ones suffer alone, their hearts breaking. They said it was for health, for the greater good, but the cost was our freedom and our livelihood. Some stood in the silence, some fell to fear. Others rose and they spoke of the injustice here. Businesses closed and careers were lost. Dan the tyrant would have his way at any cost. The kids at home will learn through screens. Families torn apart, shattered hopes and dreams. We'll never forget, we'll never forgive the days we lost, how they forced us to live. Under Dan's hand, our freedoms were taken. Watching our loved ones suffer alone, their hearts breaking. So here's the message we have for Dan. You destroyed lives with your own hands, and now you've run off to a high-paying job. We'll never forgive, we'll never forget. Dan Andrews, you're a fucking knob. Hey Dan, from everyone in Victoria, go fuck yourself.